Hi there, welcome to CJC 251-801. This is a section of criminal law, and I am Professor Brandy Roshlow. I'm really excited to work with you all this semester. This is going to be the homepage for our course. I will respond to emails within 24 hours, and if for some reason I don't, please just email again. It may have been saved as a draft, or I may have not gotten to it. So please prompt me again. I will be holding virtual office hours in WebEx on Tuesdays and Thursdays by appointment between 10 and 11:30. So here's the deal. I will always be available for those virtual office hour times. I'm just asking that you give me a heads up to make sure that I have the computer on and that my kids aren't in the room and things like that. If those times don't work with you, that's no big deal. We can always make an appointment. And if you want to connect with me, you just should click this link and it will take you right to the WebEx room. Now, to get started in course content, this is our Canvas site for the semester. It's going to be set up by weeks, and each week is going to have the information pertinent for that week. The first section is syllabus and assignments, so we're going to jump right in there. So this is our syllabus for this semester. Has my contact information. We're using the Samaha Criminal Law textbook. It looks like this. You can rent it, buy it, however you'd like. So the goal of this class is just to introduce you to the concepts and premises in criminal law. The functions, foundations, limits, all of these things are going to be topics that we address. This class is also a great prereq for criminal evidence procedure and constitutional issues in criminal justice as well. So I will be grading you on 3 exams this semester. Each exam is worth 20 points and will have 35 true-false questions, multiple choice, each worth half a point, and 1 short answer worth 2.5 points. You're going to have 40 minutes to complete the exam. And exam 1 is chapters 1 through 4, 2 is chapters 5 through 8, and 3 is chapters 9 through 13. There are going to be 10 discussion boards, each with 1 point for a total of 10 points. The times they are due, everything's due on Fridays at 11:59, and you're going to submit 2 case briefs. Each brief is going to be worth 15 points, and there's more information on Canvas. So this class is out of 100 points, so each exam is worth 20% of your grade. The case briefs are each worth 15%, and all the discussion boards total are 10%. Here's our grading scale. I have a note on my syllabus this semester, just to remind me and you that this class is taking place during the fall of 2020, and things are a little bit unusual. I would like you guys to communicate with me if things come up or things are hard or just what's going on, and we will be flexible and work through things as need be, but just make sure you're reaching out. I'm going to also go ahead and note that I'm really committed to an inclusive classroom here, online space. There comments that are racist or sexist or homophobic or denigrate or insult a member of our community are not acceptable. This is most likely to come up in the discussion board post, but you guys are all future criminal justice professionals, and so I expect you to behave like a future professional. I will also note that we are going to be discussing things that are potentially offensive, graphic, and vulgar this semester. We're going to be talking about criminal law. We will be talking about homicides, manslaughters, rapes, kidnappings, and hate crimes, all very graphic, explicit concepts. So if this is a potential problem, I just want to let everyone know right up front that this is just the core content of our class. This fall semester is going to coincide with quite a few religious or cultural holidays. If you are a student who observes one, I want you to do so. Just let me know. And then there's a pretty detailed plagiarism statement here. You don't plagiarize. I have a zero tolerance policy for plagiarism. And some examples of plagiarism are having someone else write your paper, buying a paper from the internet, using paper you wrote for a different class, turning in a paper someone else wrote. All those things are plagiarism. If you are a student with a different need, please reach out and let me know, and that will be handled discreetly. And if something does happen in this class that makes you uncomfortable, I would like to remind you guys that we can report this to the bias incident response, and everything is investigated. So the last page of the syllabus is our schedule. It's tentative, but we should be able to stick pretty close. Most weeks you're going to have one book chapter a week to work through. 10 weeks you're going to have a discussion question to answer. And I'll go over the rubric there in a second. 3 weeks you'll have an exam. 2 weeks you'll have a case brief. The one exception to the one chapter a week is week 13. We're going to be covering hate crimes and implicit bias. And that material is primarily links and short videos. That's all on Canvas for you. So there won't be a reading, but there will be some other content to look through. And then week 16, we're going to combine chapters 12 and 13. There's a lot of information and it's just not as important. And so we're boiling it down to a handful of pages and a handful of crimes from each of those chapters. So it works out for about a chapter. It's just from 2 separate chapters. So if you have any thoughts or questions, please let me know. Now we will jump back into our Canvas. We are going to talk about those discussion boards really quick. So there's 10 discussion boards. Each is worth 1 point for a total of 10 total points, and this represents 10% of your grade. You need to make sure, what I'm looking for is that you fully answer all parts of the question, and that you use complete sentences, proper grammar. Unless I note that you can use a list format. I want you to write a post that's on topic, that fully addresses the question, includes page numbers or links to an outside source if you're referring to something. And if I comment on your post, you are required to respond. You're not required to respond to any classmate's post. So that's our discussion boards. If you have questions, again, let me know. And now let's look at our case brief assignment. So you have 2 case briefs due this semester. One is due October the 9th and one is due November the 13th. I want a really important thing is you cannot select your own case. I'm going to select the 2 cases you're required to brief. They will come from the Indiana Supreme Court or the Indiana Appellate Courts, and they're going to be on an issue of criminal law. The briefs are going to be posted on Canvas under week 7 and week 12 because that's the week the briefs are due. Now, case briefs are going to be 1 page. It's strictly enforced. You need to find a way to summarize and get the material down to 1 page. You need to use complete sentences and proper grammar. They all need to be typed and single-spaced, 12-point font, 1-inch margins, and these are going to be written in a professional manner. This is an example of kind of technical writing that you might do in the field. Your intended audience, you're going to be writing to an attorney who's your boss, potentially like a paralegal or an intern who's asked you to provide them a brief summary of the case, okay? Now, one reason why I require everyone to write a brief on the same case is because this is commonly done in the field. For instance, if multiple police officers respond to a call, each officer is going to write their version of events down. So everyone can write about the same topic. We're all going to write about it a little differently. And so that's kind of the goal here. Now, I am well aware that a lot of these cases have full briefs online, and that is not an acceptable thing to do. That is plagiarism. So if your VeriCite score is really high, I'm not going to grade it. I'm going to reach out to you and ask you to revise it. So this is the how-to and the don'ts. You're going to identify yourself. You're going to write a caption. You will then write one paragraph, the facts of the case. You're going to state what happened in your own words, and just provide that information. You also want to tell the reader what happened in the lower court. Were they convicted? Were they sentenced to 10 years or 3 years? Then you're going to write in a question format, why was this case appealed? Why is this in the appellate court? What is the premise? Then you're going to write one sentence, this is called the holding, that answers your question. So yes, the homicide conviction stands because they were an accomplice. Okay, something along those lines. And then you're going to have the longest section of your brief is your reasons. This is why the court made the ruling it did based on the facts of your case. So this is where you're tying everything together and coming back to it. You're not allowed to quote, again, this needs to be in your own words, but this should be the longest section, and you should be bringing in the facts that you talk about to the reasoning section. This is a homicide because this is the actus reus, this was the intent, whatever the issue might be, you're going to write about it, okay? And that should be the biggest part of your brief. Now, a few don'ts. You cannot quote from the opinion. You should not look at any outside source or include any outside source. You should not tell me your opinion. This happens a lot. This is like a summary to your boss. You should not be including, wow, this guy seems like a really bad, evil guy. Like, that should not be in there because that violates kind of the tone of the assignment. You cannot choose your own case. And so if you include any of these, this will be marked down. The second page of this assignment is an example. This is Obergefell v. Hodges, which came from the Supreme Court in 2015. This is the case that legalized same-sex marriage in all 50 states. So this is just an example of what a case brief might look like. All right, so this has been a kind of short welcome introduction to the class and how the Canvas is set up. I love teaching criminal law. I'm a former criminal defense attorney. I've been teaching criminal law for about 8 years now. It's a great class. We're going to learn a lot. And I'm really excited to be here with you. Oh, one last thing, the discussion boards, those types of questions are going to be the types of questions you're going to see on your exam as your short answers. So just kind of know as you work through these first couple discussion board posts that this is kind of what your short answer for your exam will look like also. So welcome. I'm excited that you're here. I can't wait to work with you and learn more about each of you. If you have any questions, please reach out.